Have you ever taken a moment to look around at the current state of the world and the internet and wonder why most people are either ruthlessly critical or they're genuine but too afraid to show it? Now, I'm not much of a fan of false binaries, and there's often a lot more subtle details or nuance to a topic than what most "it's not that complicated, bro" types of people would ever dare to consider. The internet went from a place where geeks and freaks could be themselves to a place where now most people try to act like they're a cooler version of themselves or just a completely different person entirely. Since most people these days use the internet either with a phone or a laptop or a desktop PC, it's no surprise that the mentalities of the internet have crawled their way into people's brains, and now it seems like a complete chore to interact with most people that you haven't known for years already. And if you don't have friends right now, good luck trying to make any without driving yourself insane by denying what makes you yourself until you forget who you even were. I've been down that road, so I'm not trying to fling any shade your way. Usually, social interactions in modern times are so superficial that talking is just kind of like a formality ritual at this point, where you ask somebody how they are and you don't really care, and they do the same for you, but the illusion of civilization remains intact, so that's pretty cool, I guess. Now, I'm not saying that we should all have deep conversations about the quantum entanglement of tardigrades with every Joe Blow and Sally Vacuum on the street, but you get what I mean, I think. There are things in today's world that are seen as normal, but if you look hard enough, you can just see it's just selfishness mixed with psychopathy, with a little bit of glitter sprinkled on top to throw it all together. Some examples include having values and virtues, but only as a performative aesthetic that drops to the wayside once it doesn't benefit you anymore. And I'll be fair, this manifests in every mold of person, from the "I just got my triple venti 4 caramel shot mocha boopa de beppy cinnamon latte and I believe in human rights. I know that some of the coffee farms use basically slave labor to grow and harvest the coffee, but I cannot go without my Starbies." It's also present in the "I believe in God, country, a cold bear, and loving my neighbor like the Bible said, except only the ones who think and like the same things I do, and I'm just waiting for the day someone takes a wrong turn onto my driveway so I have an excuse to use my Second Amendment right." It's safe to say that being unprincipled exists in many different types of people today, but most people surround themselves with people who already agree with them, so diverse thought isn't really something that we face day to day that often. Do you remember when agreeing to disagree with people wasn't a life or death type of thing? Well, to be fair, we didn't have social media, the news, and influencers constantly telling us to go to civil war with each other, because that's the current plan of the rich parasites who fund all of it. What if we do the most punk rock counterculture thing possible in these current times and try to act with real compassion with a focus on community regardless of politics and whatever kind of wacky things that they're getting people to believe these days? Because when we argue with each other constantly, we often don't have the time to realize who's actually causing the destabilization when we're so easily divided over the outrage topic of the week. Sometimes you have to take a step back and realize that most people these days are just grown babies who can buy their own toys. Instead of hating people, we should at least try to consider how someone got to where they are currently, both mentally and physically. You know, sure, the chud says nasty things and hates the very concept of a woman, but why did he become like that? Surely no one is born a chud, and if it chud, therefore it was. But nobody ever asked why for it chud. How did this septum-piercing, neon blue-haired young woman end up uttering misandry as effortlessly as she speaks, and believing that once every boy turns 18, a bald eagle visits him by his window to give him his invitation to the patriarchy, like we're in Harry Potter or something? We've come to the point where we expect everyone around us to be perfect, otherwise we view them as not even being a person, but we don't want accountability for ourselves. The question is, why are we conditioned to be like this? We're at the point where we all exhibit some kind of arrested development or lack of emotional and mental maturity. Sure, the blue-collar man can put bacon on the table for his family, but if he can't control his emotions, then it's arrested development. Sure, the woman is independent and she doesn't need a man telling her what to do, but nobody ever told her how important it is to be financially responsible, and she never bothered to learn it despite being in her 40s now. That's also arrested development. Now, does being like this benefit the common person, or does it benefit a bunch of twisted ghouls living on island time? And we're past the point of debating whether or not if they were doing more than just taking a trip down to Margaritaville, piling their plate high at the old James buffet. But did you hear about the Dow? Don't even get me started on the NASDAQ. Like, what if we just tried to treat people with kindness even if it didn't immediately benefit us? This is a completely normal audio setup, Audio Jungle. This is a completely normal audio jungle.